Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the Sunday prep. Um, if you like the video and you want to participate by posting your tickers, please don't forget to subscribe and like the stream. So, if you're new in the channel, first we're going to analyze the futures, and right now we are watching at the S&P 500 futures. And it looks like it's going to give it a try to break this previous high here on Friday. And now that's obvious, the obvious resistance right now. Once we break that, we're going to encounter two speed bumps intraday. Let me just modify this real quick. We're going to have the steady 3083 as a speed bump. And on a higher time frame level, we're looking into reaching this for our first resistance. So we have this cluster at 30, 36, 83, 30, 38, and after that we have this 10, 30, 43, 83. So we have this high time frames right here. Let me show you on my 4-hour chart, which is going to create a zone. So the reason I marked this one is because we have this weekly pivot here that is important as well. So I wanted to divide this into little smaller zones so it doesn't get too much of a range for you guys. So you can have once if we hit here, then this is going to become the key support, and it's going to become the key resistance. So we may channel it inside for a little bit before we push in. Again, it depends on the news, because it may just have some tweet over here and then just push to the 3053. But for now, that's what we are planning for. We can just take it step by step. I can see we will also have a previous pivot right here, which I'm going to set up right now, right there. And it can be a little resistance as well. So those are the next levels we're looking for on ES. First, it needs to break this previous high right here, which is, again, it's trying to do right now, but it didn't break it yet. So you need to break and hold, and then we're going to go to those high 30s. Now, the key support for tomorrow and most likely for the week is going to be right here at 30.15.42, 30.16.82. And the last line of defense is going to be this 309, 305 area. As you guys remember, this 305 pivot zone here has been a big impediment of the ES to move above it since we bust through on the last sessions. Now, let's mark here. So you can say this is the key support and this is the key, the last line of defense for the futures S&P. This is the big picture so you guys can see what I'm talking about this little pivot zone right here. Now, I really wanted to wait to see if it's going to bust through with you guys, but the stream's already long. Usually it's like a 2-hour stream. And it's already late here, so we can always come back and check how it went. Let's check the Qs, which is the NQ. All right. So this is all-time high. Yep. Just reach a new high. Now let's mark this previous pivot where it got hold of right here. That's gonna be important on the way back down. We need to hold this as support. And this is going to be our key support zone right here. You see how it bounced right there? Okay. So this is our key support on the Qs. On the day, we're still bullish above 7998 for tomorrow. So ideally, we want this to hold the stop zone, the top of the zone right here. You guys can see it right here. To avoid doing, start doing lower highs here, and maybe if we lose this, it's gonna give some of the favorite action on the short side, which is when we retest and then we can't hold. And it's a short-term short over here if we can't hold the stop of the zone. Now, if we do, we'll be looking at this 80.79.17, and then this 81.15, 81.21. So we see tomorrow how it goes. Just mark that on your charts and let's see how it opens up tomorrow. Now, Microsoft had good news on the JEDI contract, and that may help moving the sentiment with the Q. So we'll see. Also, Amazon may have a pullback Monday, so we have to see how it's gonna counterpart on the weight on the Qs. Let's check the Russell future, which is IWM. It's still following our zones pretty good. You hear how we hold this and then push. That was a very nice entry right there. Now we're testing the top of this pivot, 1559.20. We couldn't break many times. And this time around it pushed through, and now it needs to hold above it. If we can, this will much look like a blue flag right here. So key support 59.20, and above that, what can we find? Let's look real quick. I want to mark this one here, but I need a white pivot. Let's borrow some from ROKU. So I'm gonna mark this right here. Oops, wrong tool. There you go. So that's gonna be our next key resistance. Once we break through that flag, if we resume to the upside, I'll mark this one as well, just for the sake of it. Have this as our key zone. Come on. There you go. So we'll be watching this zone. This is our key zone on the upside or the downside. The reason we're not calling key resistance because we are trading inside of it. So we need to see where it goes. Break and hold, 1569, 1570, 230. If we can't hold, most likely we're going to retest this 1550 and this weekly main pivot, which is the center point for the week, is 1550 to 60. So if we can hold this on, We have a small last line of defense at 1557.10. That's tomorrow's main level. And if we can hold that, then we're gonna test this 1550, 1552.60. No. Let's check gold. That was very solid rejection from our zone right there, almost to the tick. What is that? 1520.90. So it was 1520.90, and our zone, our pivot top of the zone was 1520.70. So that was pretty cool. Now, what to expect? We are backtesting this very important support here, which is the pivot, the main monthly pivot, which is the most important pivot of this month. If you're new to the stream, what happens is that most of the times, if we're trading between pivots, 80% of the time you're gonna retrace or pull up or pull back to the main pivot of that time frame, either main weekly, main monthly, whatever is the time frame you're trading at. So this is where we are right now. We're back testing. We push through here, back testing that key support, so we can set our key support right here. I really want to keep it tight at 1504, 1505. And the last line of defense at 1502.10. Now, it's trading below the daily pivot, which is 1510.40. So it's bearish on the day until we break and hold above it. So keep in mind that, and that's a very important level to have. So mark in your chart if you're intending to trade gold, JNUG, GLD, any of those ETFs for gold tomorrow. Just keep in mind on that. If you break and hold above that, we're gonna have another strong little zone there, but if it's very small, you can say it's a speed bump potentially. So 1520, 1512, 50, 15, 30, 30. So if this busts through, you have to most likely gonna expect a small rejection, then it needs to hold this pivot and then push through if you want to remain bullish. Now, if we're going to be keep bearish on the day, then it's just we're looking for a rejection of this pivot right here and test of 1504, 1505, and then 1502, and then go from there. If we can't hold that, I'm probably going to be expecting a 1497.20. Now let's check oil. You see this bounce from that pivot right here? That's kind of the same thing that I was talking about of the other ETF we were talking about, the futures right here. So it's the same example. Now it's testing the main monthly at 50. I'll keep this. It have a bunch of confluence here at around 56.79. So it's a 56.79, 56.82 right there, which is interesting. It's kind of rejecting. So what I would like to see is a higher low, ideally holding the back test on this zone here, 56.24, 56.32. And then if it's still bullish, we're gonna retest this at some point. But ideally, I really would like to see to hold this here. This is a support zone, is the bottom of here. But I really wouldn't like it to go down there. But again, if it goes, it's still a setup until it breaks below 55.87. Now let's check which one we already checked. Oh, natural gas. Did we check natural gas? I don't think so. All right, that was amazing gap up right there. So anybody trading you guys should be very happy right now. We are gapping above this previous resistance zone here. You see, push through, couldn't hold, push through, couldn't hold. We couldn't even get there this time around. So what made you think when you see this? You think, all right, really needs to hold this time, right? If you want to give some space, I would not. The last line I will give is this 2.355. We may bounce from there, so maybe put a little bit lower right here. And then we can retest this little here, zone 2.399, 2.403. Right, so this is the intraday. You guys can see there's a lot of support around here. So many different type of traders can see support on these VWAP traders, pivot traders, supply and demand traders. So let's see if we can hold this and then push to here, towards here. So we did like this. Test here, we need to keep holding and then we push to here. If you're seeing you guys, there's nothing wrong in taking some partial. You can always add back in on pullbacks. Gold, what else? Yeah, that was it. That was it for futures. All right, let's check now some stocks. Let's start with buying. So buying after that big sell-off, right from what? The yearly pivot zone, right there. We came back down and we never closed below this pivot, 330.23. Every time we went under, we were bought right back up. Now we are above the main yearly, which is our beloved big O, which is this orange pivot, which is our most important pivot on the board. So what's next on Boeing? It came right here, reject here, it reject. You see guys, these lines have been here for forever. You can check the streams, past ones, reject right there, 350 pivot, reject this this back test to the 343.99, 344.45 zone, and came back down, retest this pivot and reject. Now what we're looking for Boeing, this is going to be our key resistance right here, and the 338.34 is going to be our key support, with the last line of defense at big O, 336.35, 336.42. Now the plan going to tomorrow is expect a pullback to here, right? So when we're going to short, I would short either a rejection of this zone here. Have to see where it's going to open. Of course, I'll give you updates in the chat room during pre-market, but any type of rejection on this zone, I would expect it to go to the 338s. And if that doesn't hold, we're going to backtest big O at 336.42. Now, it has been trending down. So until it starts doing maybe higher high from here, so exactly every claim of this top zone, then we're still looking for bearish position on it. So the plan is if we gap inside of the zone or below the zone, let's start with plan A. If you gap inside of the zone, what we're looking for a rejection either of the top or a crack under and retest and break. So we're looking for something like this, plan A, or we're looking, let's say, pushes a little bit, then we're going to look for the same setup but on the top of the zone. First partial here, and then we're going to look for this same setup. All right. Now, what happens if we gap down? So if we gap down towards this zone here, you have to be careful for not have a quick short squeeze into the open or even pre-market, depending if we hold here during pre-market hours. We may see a push to here on the previous close line, and then you can start looking for if you didn't go long here, start looking for a short setup on it. The only thing is you need to be careful, because once it bounces from here, many people will understand that it's still bullish for the week, because this is the main weekly, right? So you have to be careful with your shorts. If you decide to take a long from here, if it holds and you decide I'm going to take a short, don't forget to take some partials. Take a partial around here and definitely take a partial here. Now, if we really gap down, if we don't have the short squeeze, then don't chase it. Just wait for something like this. All right? And then we take it here. Now, what if it's trading here? Would you take a short? Me personally, I wouldn't. I see many times things gapping down to the very strong zone and then just going shoot up, straight shoot up. So just be careful, have your levels, and don't chase, just be patient. Let it come to you. Now let's check AMRN. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Oops. Just to cover this little portion of the zone. So it's right there on our key support. Okay. So the reason a member asked me to check this, I'm checking the chat room right now. It's AMRN earnings on November 5th, AdCon November 14th, so trying to play the volatility. Okay. So he's trying to play the run into earnings, the increase in the expansion in volatility to earnings, and that are news event that is going to happen in November. So first of all, key support is right here. So your stop loss is going to be very close. Tomorrow's key resistance is going to be 1674, 1676. And you can say your key support is going to be here. Let's mark with a Friday's lows. So you have a little zone with Friday's lows and the main weekly. We could even say that this here could be a zone too. So 1682. So our zone is going to be here. 1674, 1682, that's the key resistance zone. Now that's just the first step because this is a big zone right here. If we get to there again, make sure you take some partials, but the good news is that if we bounce here and get there again, then we're going to keep doing that higher low setup, right? So push through, pull back to the pivot, push through, pull back to the pivot, push through, pull back to the pivot. Now we need to hold this, so we can have what? Another push through. If we push through, the next target would be the 1761, 1787. If we lose this, we're looking into, let me change this. 1580, 1592, and we have this mid of the zone at 1624. So that's what you need to watch for it. AMRN. Let's check real quick. The contract is already high. It's already 92% IV. It still can go higher, as you can see here. This 15th of November one is 157%. Now, I think the reason for that is because the altcoin is 14th of November. So it is right one day before the expiration of this contract. Now, remember, if you're looking for expansion and volatility, you definitely don't want to sell premium. If you do that, you're going to be under the water. Now, if you're looking for a volatility crush, then yes, you sell contracts, which is not the case. We're expecting expansion into the news. Now, the earnings is November 5th, so you have to grab this contract, which explains why this one is the lowest IV. Probably just gonna have either a running to earnings or a selling to earnings, but people are most interested into the earnings and to the AdCon news. Now, this is a very cheap contract. A cheap way to play this, you can do a calendar. Let's say you're bullish on earnings. If you're bullish on earnings, where this can go. As we know before, this thing can move up or down, right? So let's say we beat earnings. What can we expect? Yeah, of course, you still have a long way to go, but we can say the first target is going to be this 1870-19. And above that, I really like this 2023 and 2095. So let's say you are bullish. This is just an example, right? This is the November 8th. You want to buy a calendar here. Let's say like that. Gonna cost you 95 bucks. So you're risking about 95 bucks. This doesn't look good at all. Probably not working well because of the market's closed. Okay, so I won't be able to simulate. Something's wrong with the simulator. Let's try a simple vertical and see how it looks. Okay, that looks better, right? So let's say you were bullish in going into earnings and you're expecting that move I want to grab this a little bit lower though. 17 and 19. All right. So your total risk would be $55 and your total reward would be about what, 144. And if it closes by November 8th above around 19, which is the strike, our short strike. Now you can risk less if you put it closer, but you're also going to make less. Like this one is an 18 risk to make 31.96, which is percentual wise, it's a very good risk reward, but it's all up what you want to do right there. Now, if you're looking for the expansion, you probably just want to go naked, right? So I really like, I think this 18 contract should be good if you wanna risk going long on this. Now I don't know if I would grab the 15th because you have already the earnings right before. For me, it would be better to either play separate, play the earnings, and then play the adcon. Now, if you really want to play all of them together, wowzers, 17,000, 21,000. The call interest, open interest is way bigger than the puts interest. Yeah, maybe risk this 20. Grab a 20 for the 15th of November or do a calendar. Let's see if the calendar works better. Problem is that volatility is so ridiculous. Okay, that works way better for us. Okay, let's say you do a calendar for the 15th November 22. You're going to risk $7 to make a maximum of $110. So that's about 10 times your money. So that's a good risk. Now remember, the calendar has a wide range. The max profit happens near the strike you choose. So this is the 20. If you think it's gonna be around there, so pick the 20. If you think it's gonna be around 19, then pick the 19. If you think this is gonna go to the moon and you think it's gonna shoot for the 23s, that's not traded. 22 not traded. 21.50. Looks like they don't have strikes above. Let me see. They do have the 22, 23, 24. Okay. 22, 23, 24. Oh, it's probably the next month. Let me check. 22nd. They have the 21 and 25. Okay. 21 and 25. So the 21 gives you a nice range. We're risking $11, and it gives you a break even between 17 and 26 approximately. So this could be a good option as well. And the increase in volatility actually helps the calendar. So let's say increase 30%. You see how increase your profit about 142 and your risk is still $11. So a calendar may be a safe bet for expansion on volatility. Now let's move on. This is gonna end tomorrow. It's already tomorrow here. It's midnight. So let's check MKTX. This looks like a big Head and Shoulders. That's the first thing that caught my attention when I see this. Now, I'm not a pattern trader. I am a pivot trader. So I play horizontally, although I am aware of the patterns that other traders see, because that gives me an extra edge, knowing what other traders are going to do. Now, our key resistance is going to be around here. Let me mark a few pivots. I think I never marked any pivots on this one. So let me grab a blue, a mark here, and here. So you have a lot of overhead in here. So our key zone is going to be this one here. This is going to be the key zone to watch. Above it, we can see a move to 348.71, which is, that's going to be the line in the sand to the upside. I actually want to grab more. Let me take a weekly pivot. Let's mark this previous main pivot. Right there. Now this is going to be the tough zone right here. In case we break through here, this is going to be the line in the sand to the upside. 348.71, 350.77. Now, if we can't break that, where are we going to? Just checking. Let's check the higher time frame always. Right. Okay, we have it here, and we have here. So this is gonna be the next zone. Is a big zone. So let's divide this into here and into here. With the main goal for short is to hit this here at 323.39. Now, if we reclaim, if we can reclaim here, we're gonna have a tough task to break. There's so much overhead, but overhead can be broken. Let's mark here. Oops. What just happened? Let's get the AMRN. I remember this problem happened before with the ROKU pivots. Let's mark here and here. All right. So once we reclaim this, which is the line of descent for the weak sentiment, we're gonna hit our heads on this very important zone right here at 355.66, 356.77. Now, you have to be careful not trying to anticipate and just wait to see what's going to happen with this here. If you decide to take a long, remember to have partials around here. And if you decide to take short, just remember to have a partial on each one of the zones. Now let's check ACB. So ACB is really hanging around this pivot zone here. Interesting. Okay, so our key support is going to be 3.65, 3.71. This is the line you don't want it to go again under it. We do have a wedge here. Does this connect as well? Yeah. If you use this one, it kind of looked like it broke the trend, and it kind of looking to retest, right? That's why I don't play only trend lines. I like to see where they are because it's such a subjective matter, like where you're gonna put your trend line, right? I like pivots because they're objective. Either they are or they are not. So these are key support right here. Key support zone. Next key resistance is gonna be here. Oops, wrong color. Let's try to speed up a little bit. I'm going too slow. Just too slow today. We have 27 tickers, so it's gonna be what, 3 a.m. So let's grab this. So this is next month's main pivot. August already know it's there. It's either going to be there or very close to there. So for the sake of it, let's just keep it that as a zone. Month is almost over, just this last little bit of the week. So what's the idea for ACB? We want this to hold. If we have a dip to here, it needs to hold. Let me remove these trend lines. So we push through the zone, and now it needs to hold, and then push. If we gap up to this zone, just be careful locking your profits, some of them, because it may be considered overextended, overbought, whatever the name you want to use. Now, if we break and hold above that, that's when things get interesting to the bulls. Just putting here the 5 years to see if I can find anything important. Okay, I found something important. Let's grab. Do I have any here? All right, let's put on yes. Yes, it's still trying. Looks like I don't have it. I don't have one here as well. Let me think. Let's try AMRN again. All right, this is what I was looking for. I want to mark here. Right there. And say I really want to mark this one. This is going to be a very important one. This zone here is going to be the most important if we get there. See if I didn't forget anything. Don't want to mark too many stuff. I will decide if I'm going to keep this one or not. But I'll mark it right now to see. Boom, right there. Okay. So let me just mark one more, guys. Just want to make sure I don't need to come back during the trading hours and look for this. This one, okay. So once we break and hold this zone here, we're gonna have this 411, and then the 428, 432. Let me grab one of this. I really want to get this one. So those are the levels we'll be watching. Please mark them in your charts. Key support, key resistance. Let's look on the intraday. So key support 365, 371. Key resistance 390, 395. And let's see what we can get. Let's see if this is finally the reversal. Let's check. ROKU. So I have been calling this flag on the 4 hours for a week. And I hope you guys got it. I have been calling this for a week, guys. Remember I said this was the key support zone. Right here. And we had that trend line that we were watching. And it was squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And we finally got a move. And we're hitting that 133.53 again. Now our key support is going to go a little bit higher. Which is going to be 131.73, 132.28. As you can see, is our last line of defense. And ideally, a gap up and hold of this 133.53. Like ideally, we have a gap up and then back test here. And once we hold, then we start pushing towards that zone that we couldn't stay above so far, which is right here. 137.94, 141.50. So that's the goal. The goal is to get to 141.50. So we can divide this in two at this point, just so we keep it tight. For tomorrow, we have 137.94, 138.51, and that 141.50, 142.93. So you have those zones right there. If we lose this one, we're going to test last week's pivot, 129.15. And if that doesn't hold, we're back testing this key support here. And at that point, I will not be surprised if we break it under. Now, let's check BYND. So I don't know if you guys remember, but check last week's video, please. Move this to 4 hour. Check last week's video. What we said was we wanted a violent push to this zone to short. And look what happened. We had a violent move. Let me show you pre-market. Just so you know, understand a little better how we trade and how our plans are taken, right? So we gap down and look at the violent push. That was just so perfect. And we reject that zone, back test the bottom of it, and then we went down. Our targets were the 103.56 and the 97.62. We hit both last week. Now look what is happening. We are trading in between those two pivots, right? And this 103.56 is going to be the key resistance for next week. You see here how it has the confluence of the next week's pivot at 103.52. So that's going to be the line in the sand to the upside. If we reject that, we're going to have another leg down. So if we reject that, we're most likely going to test the lower portion of this pivot here, this pivot zone. Right here. Now remember we have earnings, which is Monday after hours. Yep. So it's Monday after hours. We have earnings on BYND and the lockup date as well. Let me check when is it exactly. Lockup BYND. So it's October 29th on a Tuesday. So you have earnings after hours, and then Tuesday the lockup is the day of the lockup expiration. So that's going to be interesting. If you want to bet to the downside that people are going to sell it, ideally you want to grab it here or here at 107.90. But this is a very important zone right here. It's going to be a very important level for Monday. And if we miss earnings and we have the lockup issue, I mean, it's not an issue, but most of the times people sell. Now remember, BYND IPO was 20 something bucks, and we gapped up on the IPO date, and then we never stopped. So if you just think to yourself, if you bought it at 20 bucks, would you sell if they let you at 100 bucks? Right away, right? That's 5 times your money. And so that's why we have a lot of selling happening when the expiration day comes, the lockup. So if we have the bad earnings, let me see how much is the expected move. 13 bucks. There's no way. BYND moves 13 bucks in a day when they has the volatility. With an event as important as the earnings and the lockup, I would expect more than 13 bucks. That's my expectation. But and also, what is the float? Let's check real quick. Let's check on Finviz, BYND, and see what is the float. The float is 48 million shares, so it's not tiny, but it's for a large cap. It is small. It's a small float. So if we miss earnings, let's do a math. Trading at 100 bucks minus 13. Oops, I multiply 100 minus 13, 87. So my expectation is if we miss earnings, we're gonna go at least to $80. I'll be expecting this 78.67, 81.51 area, and overshoot to 67.17, 69, 71 right here. So let me mark that. Mark right here. 71.05. And I'll mark the quarterly just for the sake of it. I'll mark that one just for the sake of it. Mark this one here. All right, so overshoot is going to be right there. Target here. I'm going to mark this one as well. So many important zones. This color. I'll mark this one here. All right, so it's 87, right? So you can say the first target is going to be this 84.80. Overshoot at 78.67, and then the 69.71 and 67. That's for the downside. If we beat, the first target is going to be this 114. or 7, 115.50, and overshoot at 124.59, 127.93. But if we didn't have earnings, I would probably expect either pull back to here or here to short it. Now, let's check one more on Microsoft. So this is the reaction after hours for the JEDI contract. Right there. So what the pivots can tell us and help us? You can say that this is going to be a key support. So our key zone for Monday is going to be 144.01, 144.69. Right there. And our next resistance is going to be 146.50, 146.89. So this zone here. This may hit 150 tomorrow. But there's so many stuff in between. Oh, there we go. 149.57. So 150. Can we reach that tomorrow? I'm not quite sure. It's going to depend on a lot of things. It's $6. That's a lot for Microsoft. And it already moved about $5 after hours. But we can keep that in our charts. If we hit it, then we have it. That's not it. Let's go back to Roku. Just trying to grab the pivot color. Not that one. Come on. Oh yeah, that one works. Okay, so 149.57. I'm not gonna be able to mark 57, but 58 is close enough. What happened? Oh, of course. If you don't select the right tool, you cannot do it. Right there. So this is gonna be the big one right here. You have the three strongest pivots, high time frame wise, is over there: 148.98, 159.58, and 150.62. But to get there, it needs to break and hold each one of those. So have those in your chart. If we have a pullback, where would I look to buy? Well, a textbook buy will be a test of the breakout level. So, but I'll be looking at higher here first. 142.76, 143.04. And this will be my last line here to buy if we can. Can even make a bigger one if just decides to close the gap, which is 141.02, 141.90. So that would be the plan for Microsoft. It's a very bullish news, so we are looking for dips to buy. If we get overextended into one of these key resistance, then I'm going to look for a short, at least for a scalp, and then I can load on the dip. PCG. So look what's going on. We are right at the pivot zone right there. Right here. So that's going to be the key support. Can say 509. If we break that, then it's going to get ugly. Pivot wise, we can expect if we break Friday's low, 459, 417, 23, 389. Let me see if there is any higher time frames here. Yeah, there is pretty much nothing. It's like a void. So have to be careful with those. Just play the levels. If you decide to take a long here, take a partial at 538 and then 568, 579. But the biggest resistance is going to be the 607, 610, 616 if we get there. That's the bearish bullish line in the sand for the week. Let me mark this just for the visual. Right there. So if you decide to take a long, just account your stop loss maybe at 475, 478. So do your share size accordingly. AAPL, Apple. So we are at all-time highs. The key support line for the week is going to be 243.54. The key zone for the day is going to be here. Let me grab this one here. I want to mark this pivot from last week. So this is going to be our key support. This is going to be our last line of defense. Kind of want to say it here. Right there. This is 243.40 to 43.54. If we can hold above this previous close line or reclaim it, we'll be looking at that 248.16. That's a strong pivot. So if we can stay here, we're definitely gonna go test here. It's like a magnet. And if we break above that, we have 249.77. So that would be the plan for Apple. If we break this under, I will not be surprised if we test this 240.40. Let me mark this. Yes, I am very detail oriented and picky on those. So that would be the downside target right there. Now let's check BPTH. So I have been tracking BPTH for pullback, and we had many entries. But right now, what I'm looking for is a break and a reclaim and break above this here that it needs to hold for another leg up, or at least a test of this 1342-ish. So what do we need to happen here? Let me mark this right here. Come on. Oh, keep missing. So we want a reclaim of this 1206, 1216. That's going to be the key resistance for the upcoming week. If we can break and hold above it, then we might have at least a test to this previous high here. Would be nice. Let's mark this one. Right here. So 1329. Let me move this real quick. 1329, 1342. Which we kind of already did it, but looking for another push if we can reclaim. This could be also, we had that push, and then if we can't reclaim here, then we're probably gonna have a leg down. So it would be nice for shorts too if you can locate some shares. So yeah, so this is the key zone we're gonna be watching. Break and hold above, we're gonna go long. If we can't remain above it, we're gonna try to short it. Now, if we short this, we need to take a partial at 1194, and then we can trade with more ease. This is the main daily for tomorrow, so if we stay above it, it's still bullish on the day, so we can just ping pong in between here and then push or fail, but we want to take a partial here just in case. Now, if we break above it, then we're gonna see that retest we want above it. If we can't break above this 1329 where we can go, we have a speed bump at 1245, at 1277, at 13, and over there. If we can break that, where we are going to? Let's check that really quick. Okay, you can see it. Break and hold, we'll be looking for this zone here. $13.98, 14.18, and 14.42. Then we had a 14.82, 14.87. All right. If we can't hold, we're looking at this 11.30, 11.45, 11, 10.90, 11, and then 10.50-ish. Let's check Amazon. Look where it bounced. I was commenting this pre-mark after hours. I was like, they were bad. We were trying to bet where it was gonna do, and I say it's right at a key support zone, right a key pivot zone right here. And if it doesn't break, if it break that, then we're gonna get the big O at 1574. But it bounced right there. Now we're approaching key resistance. Let me mark. I mean, we are at key resistance. So coming into this week, we're looking at 1749, 59, 766 at our key resistance. And our key support is going to be this 1748, 1740. Below that, we have 1722, 1709. I'll mark all this just in case. And then we have 1778, 1688. Oh, 1678, 1688. Okay. Now, I would really would not be surprised if we just lag down from here. Hopefully it doesn't lag too much down before the market opens so everybody that wants to play options can get in. The reasoning is that first, the earnings continuation. This was amazing pullback. And also the Jedi, right? The Jedi contract, that it was a battle between Amazon and Microsoft, and Amazon lost the contract to Microsoft. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see downside tomorrow. And I'll be looking to play those levels we just marked. Let's see. CAT. So CAT is approaching this strong pivot, super strong pivot at 140.77. I'm going to mark 144.50. 140.70 is the key resistance. The key support is going to be down here. It would be nice if we can have a pullback to this zone. 137.46, 137.85, 138.19. So the plan would be, if we dip into the open, look for a dip buy here, and then you go long, take a partial here, and the first target would be 140.70. And if we can break above that, we have a intraday speed bump at 141.52, 141.86, and the next higher time frame target, the SS zone, is going to be 142.91, 143.82. Now, if we lose this, the last line of defense is going to be 136.80, which is the main weekly. So that's what we're looking for. CMG. So I really didn't like it that we couldn't close above and we lost this pivot again, the 793.84. So tomorrow we're looking to a continuation to this zone here. Ideally, we see a push and fail to hold. Not that color. So that's gonna be the key zone coming on Monday. Let's divide into two, 789, 791.19, and then 793, 794.20. First idea is to look for shorts, but once we break above that, we're not interested anymore. Remember, if we break and hold above this yellow line, we're gonna be, in theory, bullish on the day, and we're still bearish on the week until we break above 809. Now, if we lose this again, we're looking, I really wanted to get this retest down here. I want to mark this one just in case. Right there. So the first target would be this 775.80, then 7782, and finally the 764.22. If we can break and hold above it, we're looking at the 800, 805, and then 809. Now let's check shop. There's a lot of rejection on this pivot. 1, 2, 3. Earnings coming this week on the, what is Tuesday before market open. So we have a very distinct line for the upside. We can say, is this 319.66? Above that, we have this 323 53, 324.79. Below that we have, this is going to be our last line of defense, not last line, I kind of like this as the last line. So key support is going to be 314.65, 315.98, so 316. And last line of defense is going to be down here at 310.80, 311.77. Below that we have 306.40 and 302.08. Tesla. That was an amazing break of the 304. Crazy run. Now we are inside this other zone. I mean, rejected actually. We were even joking about that in the chat room. Now, so that's going to be the key resistance, 328.05, 329.98. If we gap above it, that's going to be the key support. If we don't, the key support is going to be right here on big O, 321.62, 322.70. With our last line of defense at 317.84. Below that we have 310.91, 312.99. And above it, if we can break above it, we're going to have 340, 343. And we have a gap close as well. We just have to check where is the gap close level at. Let me move this to the daily chart. It is between 344 and 347.30, which is compatible of our pivots. So above that we have 340, 343, and then 349.45, 355.36. Now let's mark, I should have done that before, but I forgot. So let's mark, just want to mark the gap. That's a very big gap. Oh, I really like this. Let's grab this one. Oops. And let's grab the other one as well. Yeah, so you see how we have it right there. The funny thing that that pivot is right at the gap close. So let's make this a little bit different. I'll mark right here. All right, so you have that 340, 343, and then the 347.35, 349.45, and the 350.72. Well, that's going to be a rough area right there. But again, it needs to break and hold above this. So if it breaks above this and hold, we can go long into the 340s. It's a very long range. It may not happen on the same day, but it is a good range. You just make sure to take profit on the way or move your stop loss. If we can't trade above this, we're looking to dip buy here, 321.62, 322.70, and no lower than 317. 317, 318.08. Bets. Let's do a quick run up on the higher time frame. Let's grab a pivot, borrow a pivot. I want to mark this one here. Let's check the 5-year. Where's my 5-year? It was, oh, I am on the 5-year, duh. Okay. Do we have more than 5 years? Let's try 10. All right, that's much better. We kind of have a gap in here, but it's already closed and everything. Just curious about it. All right, let's grab some. Let's borrow some colors real quick. I am very slow today, guys. I don't know if you noticed. Right there. And right here. Let's go back. All right. So for pets, I really would like it to hold above this pivot here. The 2547, 2563 pivot. Key support. The Q resistance is going to be 2617, 2645. And the daily zone, we can have it with the previous close line, 2581, 2592. Now, I know it's a lot of little zones in here, so if you just want to keep the bottom and top one, those are the most important ones for the next upcoming week. If we can break above that, we're looking for a retest of 2591. 2591? No, I'm sorry. 2691. I was like, what? 2691, 2783, then 2858, 2911, and 2979 and $30. If we can't hold this, most likely you're going to retest the 2499 pivot. Let's mark this one here, just in case it comes back down. So 2459, 2489. Let's check TTD. So TTD key resistance is approaching. It's going to be right here. That's going to be 204.52, 207.65. And you have a weekly right above at 209.89.19. So if you want to keep it wider, you can just mark over there as well. So if you want to break down this in two, you could do something like this. Use the previous high with that pivot, which is 203.80, 204.42, and then have 207.65, 209.19. That's better. And below it, we have key support at 198.20, 197.70. And there's a lot of a support below that. So the earnings are coming November 7th, so in 2 weeks. So we can see a run into earnings if we can break above this 207.65. Early entry at above that 204.52. And then test those 212, 215, 219. And we're probably gonna have a sell into earnings if we lose this 198.20 and then start losing this mid 190s. But this 198.20 is an important zone. So you can say 196.98, 192, 198.20. Let's check NVDA, but for now, what we're looking for is this zone here to determine sentiment. If we can't hold this, we can short probably into this zone. And if we dip on here, we can, if we hold support, we can look into long into this zone here. So let's check NVIDIA. NVIDIA is right at that zone there. Okay. So ideally, NVIDIA needs to hold this 204.33, 204.54. Then bust through Friday's high, so we can retest the 208.93, 209. We have some speed bumps at 206.68, 207.96, but on the higher time frame point of view, we're looking into 208.93, 209.60, then 210.96 to 12.38. The key support is going to be here. Yeah, we had to include that. I'm thinking the best way to go about this. So we can do 203.24, 204.33 key support, and we can say the last line of defense is going to be the 200. 239. So around here. If we lose that, then most likely we're gonna retest this 195.86. All right. XNET. XNET is running with Bitcoin. It was super squeeze that we had Friday. Which color do I have here? Not the color I wanted. Let's grab the color here. Let's mark this pivot. And let's mark this. I kind of don't need it because it matches with the current pivots. Let's grab another color. I'm gonna mark here. So XNET is approaching this key zone here, 505, 538. It's a big zone for this stock, so you can have it in two parts if you want to, but that would be the ideal. Let's mark a smaller zone if you want to. Yeah, come on. Okay. So we can say the key resistance is going to be 505, 517. And the next one will be this 538, 546. Now support. It's hard to see this thing. What is this level here? 469. So 469. 476. Just checking. I really like this one here. Let's mark that. Not exactly. All right. Okay. So this is our key support. 438, 452. The last line of defense is 399, 414. So 399, 414. We have key zone at 438 to 452, in between both zones at 426. And at this point, this is going to be key resistance, 469, 486. and then that upper level 505. So there's a lot overhead, from here. So I will say that ideally, if you want to go long on this, you want to wait for a pullback. And if you want to short, any of the rejections of any of these zones would be a good start for you, taking profits, partial profits at the next lower zones. If we can't hold this, we have a big jump down to 354, 366. So there's a bigger range from here to here. Let's check RBZ. So RBZ key support for next week is 183, 193 maybe? What is that? 195. So 183, 195, key support. Key resistance 217, 227. Above that, we're gonna have the 243, 252. And then over here that we marked from before, 294, 313, 336, 350. If we can't hold this, retest of 145, 159 is very probable, and then 127. So for now, it's looking good as long as we hold this. So we're trading above the zone. If we can pull back and hold, it could be a nice risk-reward trade to get a test over here. And then you go from there. Take a partial and then go from there. Now let's check RETA. RETA. I don't know what to say. RETA. Let's see. This thing is a non-stop beast. Earnings on the 7th. That's gonna be not this Thursday, but the next one. Well, if I am holding this from below, I will be selling before earnings for sure. I will not be risking to lose all this. Now, key support is going to be 189.46, 191.77. Now, this is a big range stock, so the zones are going to be wider. And the key level that needs to break and hold for more is 194.75. My gosh, my hand is something weird today. 194.75. What is the level? 196.07. Above it, we're gonna have that big number 200. So if we break and hold, remember to take profits at 200. That's that big number. 200, 200, 270, 204 is 30. But 200 first. Take a partial at 200 if we push through there. If we lose this, we'll be looking at most likely this 182.83, 184.32 zone. I'm just gonna mark like this, right here. And then retest of this 177.49. So I am actually looking for a spot to go short on this, and maybe like a vertical or even like a put, but you have to take it at the key zones so you don't get burned. You need to keep tight on that stop loss. Let me mark this previous quarter pivot so we can have more points of data. Oops, come on. There we go. Right there. So 200, remember 200? Now we have another point of data, to 149 toward 270. So that's what we're looking for on this. Facebook, almost there. So it's essential that Facebook holds a pullback to here, which kind of did Friday. Right there. I don't know if you guys remember, that was the red zone we had marked the other day. Now, key support is going to be 186. Do I want to put a 186? It's so much support on top of support over here. It will be ideal just to mark a big zone and then you know the in between levels. So 186.37, 186.68, 186.95, 187.33, and 187.47. So the mid 186 to mid 187s. All of this is very important. If we lose this, we're looking to 183, 184.47. And if we can hold this, we're going to retest this 188.90, 190.04. And ultimately, 191.86, 192.13. BABA. We do have a trend line. There is a trend line to the upside. On the top of the, it's almost like a wedge, like a triangle. Does it go from here? I don't think so, but let's see. No. All right, so it has earnings coming on the 1st. That would be Friday. Friday before market open. So you could say you can have a run into earnings if you break and hold 176.53, and the confirmation would be a break of 178.01. But that's already too far. Let's tighten that up a little bit. Yeah, ideally break above that to run. You could have an early entry if you think this is bullish. 172.75, 173.67, which is the key zone into the week. So you can say it may sell into earnings if you break below this, and may run into earnings if you break above it. Just remember to take partials on those key levels in case it comes back down, in case it bounces back up. You see how the trend line is crossing to the downside and to the upside on key zones. So that's going to be very important to watch. So we'll see if we can get a pullback to here and then push again. ATVI. It's testing this very important pivot. So you can say your key zone is going to be 55.29, 55.52, 55.63, and 55.80. Everything in here is like a no direction spot. Yes, if it's above the weekly, it can be bullish, but it's still below these ones here. So it needs to decide from this zone where we want to go. So you can play the break and hold above this 55.63, 55.80, or break below the 55.29, 55.52, right? So just pick your poison and don't try to predict. Just play what the chart gives you. You don't need to be the first. If we break in here, 55.80s right there, then we're most likely going to retest the 56.52, 56.85. And then we go towards big O. Big O is, let me change this. Big O, it's at 58.32, 58.69. McDonald's. So McDonald's broke below the yearly pivot, which is never a great sign. It's never a great sign to break under key pivots. So the key resistance is 195.80, 196.69. I actually need to mark that one as well. $196.69. Right there. So that's our key resistance. And right now, our key support is going to be $193.58, $194.24. Right there. If we break that, we'll be looking at 190.88, 191.69. This zone right here. Let's grab a blue one. Never know how far it can fall, how far it can go up. So let's mark some more zones for you guys. $189.69. 189.54. So 189.50 is 189.69. And below that, we have $187.07, 188.18. Let's tie that up a little bit. Okay, 186, 187.07, 187.91. All right, if we can reclaim here, the next hurdle is 197.59, then 198.54, and then 199.92. Netflix. So it looks like it wants to retest here. We already had that from other analysis right here. So for upside, it needs to reclaim that at any cost. 277.76 to 78.64 is going to be our key resistance. Our key support is going to be 273.82, 274.19, 274.92 zone right here. That's our key support. So if you're bullish, what you're looking at to do, you want to buy, if you gaps up, you want to buy the dip to here. And if it rejects this, you want to look into buying a dip in here that holds support. Just keep an eye on it, keep your stop loss right below it, and see if you can catch that move towards, what is this, 282.97, 284.62. If we can't hold this, we are looking at, let me see, 265.79 to 68.43. And the last one, let's check real quick, ENDP. He also has earnings November 5th, so in 2 weeks. It's doing this little lower highs right here. Don't know even if I marked that, but, and you're doing like this. So it's trading inside the key zone, which is going to be 446, 461, right there. If we can break and hold above it, we can expect a nice push. And first, of course, testing that previous high, 516, 541. Then we have 571, $6. If we can't hold this, we're looking to test this 361, 372, and 396 levels. And that was it, guys. If you enjoyed and you want to keep having this type of content, please subscribe and like the video, and comment down below what you'll be watching during this week. And I'll keep checking every day. If you want opinions on what I see during the week, just post on the comment below. And right around next weekend, like Saturday, Friday night after market close, post in this video the tickers that you want to be analyzed for next week's video. Hope everybody enjoyed, and I see you next analysis. Take care.